Another no-show for the Civil Service Association, and the chairman of the government's negotiating team is disappointed with the turn of events. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister advises St. Lucians to take the bitter pill now for a better economic future. Dr. Anthony says the implementation of universal health care cannot wait much longer. And the first ARC Plus finisher is resting comfortably at Rodney Bay Marina, opening the floodgates. An obviously disappointed chairman of the government negotiating team is compelled to speak out publicly after the Civil Service Association cancels a meeting planned for today. Good evening, this is the CTV News. I am Natalie Jolie-Fanis, in again this week for Lisa Joseph. We thank our listeners on the wave 93.7 or 94.5 FM for joining us. Our top story comes from a statement released today by the government negotiating team expressing regret about the cancellation of a planned meeting with the Civil Service Association. The GNT says the meeting had been requested by the CSA, but the CSA President, Mary Isaac, in a telephone conversation, cancelled the meeting and indicated that the CSA was in no hurry to conclude negotiations and that no meetings would take place until 2015. The GNT said it was also appalled by statements made by the president of the CSA in an article dated November 24, 2014 on the St. Lucian News Online and wanted to clarify some of the points made. Here is the chairman of the government negotiating team, Chester Hinkson.
The president of the CSA, in a telephone conversation, cancelled the meeting and indicated that the CSA is in no hurry to conclude the negotiations and that the CSA would not be meeting with the GNT until 2015. No month in 2015 was provided. Moreover, the President indicated that 2 of the 7 members of the executive will be undergoing medical treatment during the Christmas holidays. It should be noted that it takes 5 members to form a quorum. The GNT is appalled at the statements made by the President of the CSA in an article dated November 24th on the St. Lucia News Online website, and therefore takes this opportunity to clarify the following. At a meeting of October 9, 2014, the CSA requested that fringe benefits and allowances be negotiated together with wages and salaries. Though it is not the practice to negotiate allowances with salaries, the GNT accommodated the CSA by acceding to its request. At that same meeting, the GNT had indicated the severe financial constraints of the government and the difficulty in negotiating positions which resulted in higher financial outlays, and both parties agreed that the CSA would go back to its members to inform them of the seriousness of the country's financial situation. That was since October 9th.
Mr. Hinkson also addressed the issue of minutes which the CSA claimed were not issued.
Please note that both parties agreed that the meeting of the 22nd of October would be a continuation of the meeting of October 9th, and that minutes would be provided at the subsequent meeting. The GNT confirms that minutes were indeed issued at the meeting of November 24th. Therefore, there are no minutes outstanding to the CSA. Just to put some emphasis on this, it is not unusual to provide copies of the minutes on the day of the meeting and allow parties to review the minutes prior to getting into the meat of the meeting. The GNT reiterates that the delay in the negotiations is of no benefit to the country, as it results in the suboptimal use of time of all concerned. The GNT would like to encourage the executive of the CSA to come to the bargaining table to complete the negotiations as it is in the interest of the country to have a stable industrial relations climate to support investment and growth.
Mr. Hinkson reiterated the delay in the negotiations, noting this is of no benefit to the country as it results in the suboptimal use of time of all concerned. The GNT is encouraging the executive of the CSA to return to the bargaining table to conclude the negotiations, as it is in the interest of the country to have a stable industrial relations climate to support investment and growth. The island is mourning the passing of former Senate President Hilford de Turville. He was also a former president of the St. Lucia Bar Association and a stalwart of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony paid tribute to a man he described as a teacher and mentor.
I had known Hilford de Turville for more than 4 decades. He was not born of privilege, and his early life at La Panse was largely one of challenges. It was perhaps the daily struggles he faced which would eventually shape him into becoming the champion of the working and dispossessed class that he was. I first encountered him when he taught me mathematics at the Vieux-Fort Comprehensive Secondary School. I was never fond of maths, but Hilford was the most energetic and colorful teacher I ever had. If I failed to impress him with my mathematical skills, I believe I did so on the cricket field.